Good evening and welcome back to another episode of TFF Talks. I'm your host, Danny Cook, and tonight we will be reflecting on all of the weekend's FA Cup footballing action. But before we begin, this show is sponsored by Classic 11 Shirts and brought to you by Crowford Media and halftimecuppa.com. You can find all the links, as always, in the description below. And if you are watching live tonight, please do send in your questions and views to us in either the YouTube chat section or to us via Twitter at @OfficialTFF. Don't forget that you can catch up on all of the previous shows, especially our Christmas special on our YouTube channel now. But please don't disappear because we should have another great show lined up for you this evening. And onto this evening, I'm joined by one fantastic guest, an absolute TFF legend. He sent in his bio, long-term TFF member and aspiring sports journalist, and I have to add, absolute legend. It's great to have you back. Josh Keeper-Wells, thanks for coming on.
Danny Cook, absolute pleasure as always. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm well, mate. I'm very well now. Jules is doing better.
Good. We'll certainly go on to Gilles in a little bit this evening. So just to talk the running order, the plan is we're going to talk about the FA Cup. We'll sprinkle a bit of the Football League in there, talk a bit about the Championship and League One and maybe a bit of League Two if we can. Then we're going to get onto the spicy hot topic of VAR. And then we'll probably talk a little bit more about the Gilles a little bit later on. And just a bit of a heads up as well. TFF will be doing some transfer deadline day coverage and more info will be out on the socials, I'm sure, in the next few days. So keep your eye on that. Anyway, let's crack on with the FA Cup. Josh, I suppose the logical place to start would be the Manchester United game where they beat Yeovil. I don't know if you managed to catch that game at all, Josh.
I did.
But what did you make of it? What was your thoughts?
Man United fielded a very strong starting 11. Wouldn't say it was their first team, but a lot of senior players such as Mark Carrick, sprinkled in with a little bit of youngsters such as McTominay. I think I said that right. But yeah, far superior opponents for Yeovil Town, and Yeovil did put up a good fight for most of the game, and it was thoroughly entertaining. But obviously, Manchester United, no surprise, come 1-0 victory.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure to everyone on paper that was a pretty obvious sort of result. But that being said, Yeovil did put up a bit of a fight, and I'm sure that's a great sort of event that the club can look back on. As it's not every day that they get to play Manchester United, is it, Josh?
Yeah, of course, and obviously, as a football club, you've got to look at the financial side as well. On a Friday evening, you've got BBC heading down to your ground and under the lights on the telly. Financially, that's going to do them the world of good. And for a Sky Bet League Two side, the more money coming in, the better, because there's not a lot of money in that league, and the more money you can get, the easier the season will become. So it wouldn't surprise me if we see a signing between now and deadline day for Yeovil.
Yeah, it's kind of the common theme. And again, I'm sort of relating this back to, I suppose, Norwich, because that's where my supporting ties are sort of attached to. But I know certainly when they've progressed in the League Cup and their sort of ethical approach is any money that we make in that cup run has gone back onto the training facilities. So it's key for these lower league sides to reinvest the cash from these cup competitions, isn't it, really, Josh?
Yeah, without a doubt. And Yeovil Town have such a paper-thin squad. And for the third round, I can't remember who exactly they were facing, but I remember 2 or 3 days before the Saturday, they had a squad of 12 players and had to make 4 signings between the Thursday and the Saturday game, and managed to just do it, bringing in loan signings and free agents, etc. So a bit more squad depth there would be superb, and hopefully gets them pushed up the table a bit further.
Yeah, I'm sure it couldn't have been a hard sell. Talking to players and saying your next game, your first potential game for the club, would be Manchester United. I mean, that's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm pleased to introduce as well Mr. Liam Jury, who has just joined us this evening, and as always, a TFF Talks legend in his own right. Liam, thanks for coming on.
No worries. How are you? How are you both?
I'm good, thank you. I'll let Josh give his 2 cents.
I'm very well, Liam. Thank you very much. How are you, mate?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. Glad to hear. What we'll do, Liam, we are going to talk. We're going to have some time for your clubs a little bit later on, so you can certainly air your views of how Western are doing a little bit later on in the show. So don't worry about that. Okay, well, let's move on to the one of the other sort of highlighted games from the weekend, and that would be the Peterborough-Leicester game in the FA Cup. Now, Leicester ended up winning 5-1, Liam. I don't know if you managed to see any of that game, but any real surprise there with that result?
Nah, not really. You expected Leicester to win, really, didn't you? And they put out quite a strong squad, even though it wasn't their sort of first squad, first team from Leicester. And they still put out a very strong squad with like Demai Gray, Iheanacho, players like that.
And do you think Peterborough can take any sort of, or I'll change the question slightly. What can Peterborough take away from that sort of result? Because on paper, that looks quite disheartening, a 5-1.
Well, they scored for one, didn't they? And they had a few chances. It wasn't completely one-sided. Like they had a few attempts on goal. They didn't have the lion's share of possession, but they still kept the ball well when they had the ball. And it's not, it shouldn't really be downhearted about the result either, because on another day, if they had got the first goal, they could have gone to get another, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, very true. And Josh, do you think they'll look to regroup and put things right in the league now? I mean, obviously they were the underdogs going into this game, but as I say, 5-1 could be quite flattering.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a poor result no matter what way you look at it. But as I said with Yeovil earlier, the main thing for the FA Cup I find with teams in League One and League Two is the financial side of it. And with a side like Leicester coming to town, you're going to sell out your stadium, which I think Peterborough did. And obviously the TV cameras down there for an early kickoff. So yet again, you're bringing more revenue into the club. And for me, they can only take positives out of it. You're not expected to win the game. Whether it's 5-1, you lost, or 1-0. You've made a lot of money and you weren't expected to win the game. So it's been a good payday for Peterborough and a good run in the cup. So all
True.
positives.
True. Moving on then, and one of the sides who I would say probably did cause a bit of an upset here and has forced a replay, Notts County, who held on for as we say, a replay against Swansea. 1-1, I believe the final score was there. Josh, Notts County, they're surely going to be over the moon with that result, aren't they?
Oh, this is superb. Obviously, beating Premier League strugglers Swansea. Drawing with Swansea. Getting ahead of myself there. It's a great result. Notts County flying in League Two, second in the league, and can put a bit of emphasis on the FA Cup because they are so far away from Luton, who are top. 9 points, I think it is. I looked earlier. So why not go for it up in Swansea? You know, going for your strongest 11 again and keep knocking on the door. Go and attack the game rather than sit back and try and turn into extra time. Go and try and nick it in the 90 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, they've certainly had a really good season. As you mentioned, Luton and them are sort of flying, really, aren't they?
Yeah, Kevin Nolan's done a fantastic job at Notts County, and when he first took over, I wasn't entirely sure how he'd do because he hadn't had a managerial job before that, I believe, and was at one stage player manager in Notts County. But yeah, the turnaround he's performed there has been superb, and a team like Notts County should be in at the very least League One. So please see them doing well.
Yep. And as for Swansea, Liam, Swansea, I mean, it's another fixture on their fixture list. Yeah, they didn't lose that game, but they didn't win it either. How do you think the fans would be feeling from that one?
I think they'll be feeling a bit aggrieved that they didn't win the game, because when you go to a League Two team and you put out a fairly decent squad, you expect to still win it by the odd goal or 2 goals. So I think, and when you're in a relegation scrap like Swansea are, you need your players as fresh as possible so you can compete every Saturday, not a Saturday and then a Tuesday and then a Saturday to tire your players out.
Yeah, yeah, I understand that. But there is an argument, I suppose, I mean, the FA Cup is notoriously known for these sort of tricky David versus Goliath fixtures. And that's no disrespect to Notts County, but obviously, given where they are in the league and where Swansea are at the moment, um, do you have any sort of element of sympathy and maybe, yeah, I would say probably sympathy and understanding that Swansea have, okay, they've got another fixture, but they didn't lose that game. What's your thoughts, Liam?
No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't say so, because if you're not good enough to win the game, then you deserve to go to the replay, don't you? So
Yeah, fair enough. And Notts County obviously very pleased with that, Liam. I would imagine getting some extra match day revenue from tickets and
yeah, because I think every team gets part of the gate receipts, don't they, if you're the away side, so Nery's happy with that as well.
Yeah, I believe it's well, I don't know if it is a 50-50 split, but it is pretty much a split.
40-60, but
yeah, it is a more favourable split than league games, isn't it? Really, so
yeah.
There we go. Okay, moving on. Josh, unfortunately, it's that time of the evening. We're going to have to talk about one of your teams. Yeah. And unfortunately, we're talking about West Ham, I suppose, unhappy Hammers this weekend anyway.
I guess you could say that Will Grigg's on fire.
You could say Will Grigg is back on fire. So before we go to Josh, because I know he's probably got a fire sort of going off in his belly, we'll go to Liam first. Liam, what's your gut thoughts on that result?
I'm pleased for Wigan, aren't they? Because they've fallen on hard times recently since they won the FA Cup. So it's good for them to get that sort of scalp and them to get that. No offense to West Ham's loss, but that bigger team in the next round, like a Man City or Man U or someone like that at home. It'd be nice to see them go on another cup run again.
Yeah, of course. And as you alluded to, they previously won one of the FA Cups. So I can't think what year. I think they beat Man City in the final. Am I right in thinking it was who scored? Was it Sidwell? Someone like that? Ben Watson, sorry. I was having this discussion with a friend on the train the other day. He's a Brighton fan, so we was talking about if Brighton were to do it, and he was saying Steve Sidwell would come on. So that's probably where the confusion. But, go on then, Josh. Take it away. The floor is all yours.
Yes, I'm angry, but I don't think I'm going to be as ranty as you might like.
Oh no, the views. Go on.
Deserves to go out the competition for the clear show of disrespect they've shown the competition this season. Should have gone out in the last round, Shrewsbury, and only just beat them an extra time. David Moyes has fielded two very poor sides. He's been here. And losing to Wigan yesterday was no great surprise to me.
But is that good enough? Is that good enough for you as a West Ham fan? Is that good enough to accept that your manager is not essentially taking this competition seriously?
No, it's not good enough, Danny, because we're at the Carabao Cup. you're never ever in a million years going to win the Premier League. So the FA Cup's your only chance of going and winning a trophy. And for a trophy that hasn't won a trophy for over 30 years, and a club that has such history in the FA Cup should be trying to win it each year. And as I say, we've shown the competition a clear lack of respect and deserved everything we got on Saturday. And Wigan were the better side, played off the park once more by a League One team. The board, yet again, have been an absolute disgrace. And what Arthur Masuaku done on Saturday was an absolute shambles. And personally,
can you just talk us through that at all? The Masuaku incident, if that's okay.
Well, basically,
just for anyone who missed it.
The ball went out, and him and Nick Powell, I believe it was, had sort of like a coming together, but it was nothing too malicious. Nick Powell turned away because obviously nothing, as I say, malicious. And Arthur Masuaku deemed it enough to spit at him, and was caught and rightly sent off. And for me, I don't want that anywhere near my football club. He doesn't represent Sam Holden. I don't want to see him in a West Ham shirt again, no matter how good or bad he's been this season. So, yeah, absolutely awful from him, and just for that alone, deserves to lose the game.
I'm going to come back to Josh in just a second. Liam, I want to hear your views. Obviously, you've just heard the incident. It sounds like you're in an airport. You've heard the incident. Would you accept that? That wasn't happening to you? Oh my word.
No.
Okay. We'll give Liam a chance for the plane to go over. Josh, we'll come back to you. So, why do you think David Moyes has sort of not prioritised the FA Cup? Is it a sort of message from the board and a message from those above him, or is it just a sort of approach of I need to keep us in the Premier League? What is it?
Well, it's not something I can put one distinct finger on. By any means, we're not safe in the Premier League. 2 or 3 bad results, and you are back in the scrap. I know paper you think, right, no chance of going down, you're safe now. But with how tight this league is this season in the bottom half, and I, for one, have been saying for a long time that West Ham could still go down. Job since he's come in terms of the Premier League. Although we're not safe in the Premier League just yet, to be challenging in the FA Cup. You look at some of the big sides that have gone out in the FA Cup already. Arsenal, Spurs could easily go out in the replay against Newport. Liverpool knocked out. So finished quite highly. A clear lack of disrespect, of respect for the competition.
And do you think, because obviously I don't think we've really spoken much about Moyes since he got appointed. But do you think that you've seen enough of him over the last couple of weeks since his appointment that you think he could be the long-term manager of West Ham United and not just a short-term fix for this season and maybe half of next season?
Whether he is or is not the right option, he will get the job. Just because, as I say, the board don't care anymore. They're in it for the payday, and fair enough, that's their prerogative. But been a disgrace, and Moyes has done well since he's come in. I will hold my hands up because when he was the first one to slag him off, but he's done very well, proven me wrong. As you say, the question is he the long-term fix? And bear in mind, we moved to this fishbowl to level, as David Sullivan said. And being linked with players like Harry R, due respect, are not the next level.
Go on, carry on, Josh.
who in that season
Yeah.
better than the likes of John Joe Shelby and Harry Arter. Also, another player I've seen to think with Alfie Mawson. Fantastic player. But yet again, is in the next level. He's not what we've been promised by the board. And yet again, this window, 25 million. They spent 2 million. It's on a loan. And now they're saying we can't get any more players in. You've still got quite a few days left in the transfer. Go and sign someone. I don't care how much you spend, whether you spend another 5 million or 20 million. Just go and buy someone. The squad, Danny, you see it yesterday. You take our 2 playmakers out, Arnautovic and Lanzini, because they're both injured, and there's no creativity in this side. Defence, James Collins can't get a game. He's itching for a new contract. Wants 2 years. We'll only give him 1 more. But they should be signing him up. But we're playing players like Reece Oxford who want out of the club and will leave next week to go to Borussia Mönchengladbach. And he's going to leave next week. But James Collins, who wants to stay, he wants West Ham in his blood, always has, can't get on the pitch. And with all due respect, Oxford is living off the Arsenal game. He's been absolutely woeful since, and massive potential. But I've seen no ability since the Arsenal game, and he's living off it, and it's not right.
I guess the question is why? Why is I suppose Moyes, the club, whatever? Why are they using, say, a Reece Oxford who you deem is supposedly off, or will be off soon? Do you think it's a case of them trying to showcase the players and trying to get a bit more money for them by playing them and having them in the spotlight and getting some competition? Do you think that could be the case at all, Josh?
If that was the case, the Afro would have been starting every week. So,
yeah, very true, very true.
It's not one rule for one player and another for another. So if you're looking to sell players, they're all going to be starting, and if they're playing well, you're not going to want to sell them, then are you? So no, I just think it's pure stupidity. David Moyes come out and said he needed reinforcements this January. Hasn't been backed. I do feel sorry for him. The board didn't back Simon Bilic in the summer. It's his job. And I fear the same will happen with David Moyes because, yet again, the board are failing to back the manager, and investors come in and offer them a stupid amount of money. Swan off, and I cannot wait for the day that arrives.
Well, I mean, you're talking about playmakers earlier of who you should be after. Unfortunately, and I don't want to put his name forward because I don't want you to get him, but James Maddison is the one. Unfortunately, in the Championship, if you're looking to go for one in the league below or leagues below, he's the one you've got to turn to. He's practically just winning Norwich games, winning them points. So yeah, I think he could be a hammer maybe one day.
Well, I follow this account on Twitter, ex-West Ham employee, and he gets everything right, absolutely everything right. He put his name forward to David Moyes to go and scout him.
Yeah.
And Chelsea game and wasn't impressed, and has ended our scouting of him, and he doesn't want him.
Okay.
So
good. We're safe then. Go on, Josh. You cut out there.
Yeah. So judging in one game against superior opponents, just utter stupidity. I'd love James Maddison. I'd pay up to 25 million for the bloke. I think he's absolutely superb. Set pieces, brilliant. On the ball, superb. His movement, agility, fantastic. And he's a Premier League player playing in the Championship, and that's why he's been in the Norwich City game single-handedly.
Exactly. We'll come on to transfer stuff a little bit later on. So yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about West Ham and any potential signings a little bit later on. Anyway, we better go back to the FA Cup, and we're going to talk about Newport and Tottenham now. So Liam's still got the plane going on. Oh dear. Back to Josh. Newport obviously held their own. I don't know how much of the game you saw, but I saw a Newport side hold their own against Tottenham. To be fair, Tottenham they did play quite well at times. But Newport, they were really going for it. They were embodying the FA Cup spirit. I don't know what you think or what you thought of Newport in that game, Josh.
I'm in complete agreement with you, Danny. As you said earlier, it's a proper David versus Goliath clash, isn't it? And Newport just absolutely battled until the very end. And unfortunately, one lapse in concentration, and it comes in the 82nd. The defender in the box is seen ball watching. A world-class striker like Harry Kane is going to peel off and put the ball in the back of the net, and that's what he done on this occasion. You know, as I say, one lapse of concentration, it cost them the game. But yeah, again, moving on to the financial side, I'm starting to sound like bloody Mike Ashley. But
go on then.
Financially, the draw is probably a better result than a win for Newport.
Yeah.
But what a job Michael Flynn, who I adored growing up as a junior midfielder, has done there. Second bottom, I think about 15 points adrift to go last season. He was appointed, kept Newport in the Football League, and they're 4 points off automatic promotion spots now. And what a story! On the final day, they stayed up and he's done there.
Yeah, I mean, he's done an incredible job, hasn't he? Let's face it. I'm just thinking that Tottenham goal though, and that for me sums up that game. From what I saw, Tottenham didn't play poorly or anything like that. They played well. They probably played average for them, but they played well. And all it took was that bit of brilliance, that little flick from Son, who may I add, the last sort of few months has really sort of come into his own. I don't know what you think there, Josh. But yeah, I mean, when you've got a deadly striker like Kane, who, as you say, is going to peel off, he's going to put it in, isn't he? He's going to put it in. But yeah, I just love Son's flick. I don't know if you feel the same way about that Son flick, but that was so cool.
Anywhere I can't feel affectionate for any Tottenham goal or player, but it is a fantastic goal in terms of the assist, and obviously it's an easy finish, but composure and all of that comes into play, I suppose. Harry Kane, the man that spearheaded our attack in Russia, calm under pressure as always, and as you say, the flick from Son is just class.
Yeah, very, very true. We've had a comment come in from SA who's listening in, and he says, and okay, this might be, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this, Josh. Yep. He says West Ham's priority should be to stay up, in brackets, through, in my eyes, and then goes on to say they're too big to be just staying up, but with the predicament they find themselves in, that's all they can ask for. Would you agree?
Premier League, and so it should be. Should we be in a position where the priority is staying in the Premier League? No, we shouldn't. But we are. So the priority is to stay in the Premier League. I absolutely agree. However, I'll play the Premier League games on the Saturday and then the FA Cup games on the Tuesday, barring a replay. The Cup games obviously take priority over the Premier League in terms of fixture scheduling. So do both. Obviously, that's a matter of opinion. But yeah, definitely agree that the priority is to stay in the Premier League.
Just very quickly before we move back to the FA Cup, do you think it's a case of damage limitation now in terms of your season?
What, in terms of... Sorry, say that again.
Well, as in, I mean, as Essa's just put, you're supposedly too big to go down. Is it a case of just making sure that you do not go down and that damage does not inflict and that you don't find yourself in the Championship or, you know, maybe off the pitch performing so badly or whatever? Do you think it's a case of just limiting what potential effects could sort of happen on your club? and just trying to see out the rest of the season.
Yeah, cool. There is that, but there's also the opposing argument, which is FA Cup is a great confidence builder. Fellow strugglers roll up to Anfield, turn them over 3-2, and could have been 4-2, but they had a goal obviously ruled out by a later. So, I think the FA Cup, and I think we'll see West Brom kick on a bit in the league now following that result.
Yeah, we'll come on to them very, very shortly. And as obviously a West Ham fan, does their performance in the cup, or Liam's disappearing, does that sort of lack of anything now really other than survival to play for, would that even inspire you to go out and purchase a ticket or anything like that? Because I'm just thinking, if you're a season ticket holder right now, I mean, would you feel motivated to renew? Because it's that time of year, you've got to be looking to renew. So, if you were a West Ham season ticket holder, Josh,
yeah,
how would you be feeling right now?
Definitely not be renewing. You know, I'm a big West Ham fan. I love the club and will do till the day I die. But it's just not the same as. I don't want to be that person. He was in this position at the bowling. But at the London Stadium, we were told we're here to compete with the big boys. The big boys ain't Bournemouth. With now, we've gone to London Stadium and 5 steps back. So no, I won't renew and to go to the games anymore. When Moyes was appointed, I made a pact that I wasn't going to go to another game this season, and I've stuck to that. Because of Moyes, that I said that it was a bit more because of the board and the lack of ambition, and that's why I've stuck to that. I've been to one game this season. That was Bolton in the League Cup. I'm done for the season. Because all I'm doing if I go there is lining the pockets of the people I slag off every week, and that's David Sullivan, Karen Brady, and David Gold, the biggest frauds in English football. So, not be renewing my season ticket.
Fair comments there. Okay, so the question for those listening in, especially SA as well, if he is listening in, who, in your view, do you think West Ham need to bring in from now to deadline day to strengthen their squad? Josh, we'll get your thoughts at the end, of course. Okay, let's move on to one of the games that happened today. Chelsea beating Newcastle. I would probably consider quite comfortably 3-0. Josh, what did assuming you must have seen a bit of the game, what did you make of it? You didn't.
Predictable results, isn't it?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Very unlucky with was it the first goal or the second one where Batshuayi hits it comes off themselves?
Second, yeah. It sort of looped up, didn't it? It looped up and just went over.
Very unlucky. It's that type of goal where you go, if that don't go in, if that rolls the other side of the post, do Newcastle go and get back in it? But as I say, very unlucky, but predictable nonetheless. Chelsea fielded a strong side, deserved to go through, and West Ham. This is the only chance Chelsea got to win a trophy this season. Antonio Conte's playing in the FA Cup, save his career at Chelsea.
Do you think that there's? I was going to say, do you think there's that much pressure on him right now that he has to win this competition?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think a couple more bad results in the Premier League and he'll get the dreaded vote of confidence. I like Conte. He done wonders there last season. United and dramatically, let's get that straight. No matter what you think of Mourinho or United, they have improved, and City. So, inevitable is not the word, but predictable that Chelsea were in this position, and as we all know, Chelsea like to sack a manager. We see it with Carlo Ancelotti. He won a double in his first season, didn't he? And then gone shortly after. But you can see he's under a lot of pressure at the moment. And it's just one of those things. You can see Chelsea progressing in the FA Cup, getting to the semi-final. They'll get a bad result in the league. He'll get a sack, and then Gus Hiddink could come in. What's the word I'm looking for, Danny? Temporary.
Yeah, like interim caretaker.
Yeah. And then back to square one. Do you know what I mean? Then build from there. So yeah, I do think he could lose his job.
I mean, at this stage, if I mean that it would, but say I don't know, at 20-9 on this Sunday evening, Chelsea decided to sack Conte. Who do you sort of tip to be the new manager if they were to sack him? Because I'm lost. I don't know who they go for right now.
I think they'd go for Hiddink. On a temporary charge, as I said. But who would I go for? It's a good question.
I mean, just to chuck an odd name out there, you've got obviously Marco Silva from Watford, who was heavily linked with Arsenal at one point, wasn't he?
He was.
So there's a name for you.
Obviously dubbed as the next Mourinho. A clear link with Chelsea there. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Mark Hughes is out of job. Out there. Not saying he's anyway good enough to manage Chelsea, but Mark Silva's an interesting shout because obviously sacked by Watford, so you immediately see that and go, he can't.
You don't think, yeah.
About him, and it was very harsh sacking by Watford. He had a very good opening period of the season, and obviously had his head turned by Everton. Is it an improvement on Conte?
That's yeah. You know what, and that's my question as well. I'm not sure if they were to sack him, what they would do. There seems to be a question of what next. What is the plan at Chelsea?
That's the case with Chelsea, Danny, and then you find a way to get out of it, and they go and win the league in the next season, and then it's the same side.
Same routine. Yeah, I get you. Okay, let's move on because we've got time's against us here. Let's talk about Cardiff and Man City. I think I've done a quick typo here. Cardiff did not win 2-0. But yeah, I don't know if you got a chance to see again the highlights or any of the action in that one, but there was obviously a very, very tight offside decision, should we say, and VAR was not available. So Lee Mason was out there by himself. Did you get a chance to see that call at all?
There's no other way than putting it. It's the wrong decision. He's got it wrong. I don't know what else I can say. He's got it wrong.
Is the irony of it though, given what we'll come on to about VAR and the incidents in some of the other games, it's the irony that the one game that probably needed that one sort of key decision, and it's not there.
Yeah, if you're going to have it across all platforms, no? That's the job of it. Same with goal line technology. You got to have it in every league, every game. Why not have it in every game? Man City Cardiff's a big game on a Sunday on telly. Why would you not have VAR?
I don't know. I don't know.
People in front of all those cameras, and you don't have VAR available. Why? I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. A televised game, you'd think that's the easiest thing to put VAR on.
Yeah, and I feel like at the moment I think they're just doing it for Premier League sides or games that are played at Premier League grounds. But man, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about all this, but we'll come on to that anyway. Listen, let's talk about the result now. Cardiff, can they take any heart from that? Because Man City obviously been very strong this season.
Man City have been brushing the sides 4-5-0 most weeks. So for them to rock up to an impressive Cardiff City side and only beat them 2-0, of course you take positives from that. Cardiff flying this season. Neil Warnock doing a fantastic job. The brilliant Championship manager. And joking in the press all week saying, it's just a sort of week off for them, if you like, because they're playing who they are playing. And I buy that. I think he is genuinely saying, like, go and enjoy yourself. No pressure on this. I think he'll be holding anything against the players. To lose 2 against Man City is an achievement this season. Players close today. Kenneth Sahore really impressed me. His hold-up play is excellent. I'd like to see him in the Premier League next season.
And actually, that's a good point. Do you feel that Cardiff have got enough in them now to? I mean, they're in and around that sort of zone, but do you think they've got enough in them to gain promotion this season? Maybe
on paper, it's not got a lot of quality. Barring your likes of your Sol Bamba, Kenneth Zahore, Hoylett. One thing Neil Warnock is very good at is getting the best out of his players, and he's done it again this season. It's a lot harder when he gets to the Premier League, and Warnock shows that. Brilliant Championship level. He's never really adjusted to the Premier League that well. He gets the best out of his players, and for that reason, I do tip them to go up. And people like Zahore and Hoyle will have to drag them through them last Championship.
Okay, well, we'll have to see if they do it. And very quickly on Man City, because we don't want to spend too much time, because I'm sure we've spent a lot of time throughout the season talking about them. But I particularly want to talk about that challenge by, I think, Joe Bennett on Sane. I don't know if you got a chance to see that, but it was quite a meaty challenge. There was a lot of force in that. My question to you, Josh, if you did see it, is I mean, he got a yellow card, I believe. Do you think it was red card worthy?
Yeah, I do think it's red card worthy. You look at the position that Sane was in. If he goes around Joe Bennett, he can get a shot off on goal. So is it a goal scoring opportunity? Yes, it is. Is he the last man? No, he isn't. Very bad challenge. Yes, it is. So in my book, whether that's the same book as the FA's, so he's not the last man. But taking into account his pace, his power, for me in that position, if he beats Joe Bennett, he goes and scores. He brings him down illegally and only receives a yellow card. Receive another one, gets sent off. But for me, he should have been sent off early in the game.
Okay, let's move on now. Liverpool West Brom. Oh my word! What a VR centric game that was. Oh my word! So a bit of a mad 30 minutes or so into that game.
Yeah.
Where I think Liverpool opened the scoring, then West Brom hit back and took the lead 2-1. And then I believe they had a goal ruled out for offside using VAR after reviewing VAR. I think that was to make it 3-1 and they brought it back to 2-1. And then, oh my word, I can't remember for the life of me what happened from there, but there was all sorts happening, wasn't there, Josh?
Right. Here we go. This is my problem with VAR. For offsides, it's a matter of fact. He's either on or off. But for something like a foul, Danny, one ref could give us a foul and another could give us a dive and a booking. Opinion. So the fouls, VAR, because it is still a matter of opinion.
Mm.
So, for instance, you watch Match of the Day. How many times have you seen pundits on there? They've watched it 10, 15 times.
Yeah, I mean the thing is as well. Sorry, Josh, I'll come back to you and say. Thing is as well. We've just debated the Sane tackle from Joe Bennett. Now that's subjective. What, like it or not, Lee Mason made that decision,
Yeah,
deemed it a yellow card. That's subjective. So I'm completely with you there. That tackling and that is so subjective.
yeah. And there'll be a lot of people that agreed with Mason's decision. And there'll also, on the flip side, be a lot of other people that disagreed with it. So for fouls, it's flawed. But offsides, goal kicks, I think they should have it for goal kicks and corners. So we see players kick it off another player and out for a corner to be given as a goal kick or vice versa. It's going along the same line. So why can't they have it for that as well?
The one that gets me at the moment is the and I think they talked about it, and the BBC commentators were talking about it during the Norwich Chelsea game when it was VAR and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
If say the linesman puts his flag up, okay, the linesman puts his flag up, and then that player stops running, but it turns out that player was actually onside. They've not gained anything from that.
No, they've stopped the team from scoring.
They've stopped the team from scoring. Yeah. So if the linesman's put his flag up, and I know, say it's against United, and Alexis Sanchez keeps going and puts the ball in the net whilst, I don't know, they're playing Arsenal and Petr Cech's got his hands on his hips.
Yeah.
And then they go to VAR and then they give it the goal. It's chaos.
Do then. And with VAR, a lot of things I keep hearing is like the crowd haven't got no idea what is going on. And it's true. The fans just stand there and wait. And like or not, they're the most important people in this situation because they need to know what's going on. That's what they pay their money for.
Mm.
And then
what's
going on.
I mean, the thing is as well, it's obviously because it's so new. It's not got that when you go to the tennis and they bring it, they show if it's in or out, and then all the fans go ooh, and all that sort of build up to it. There's none of that because no one seems to know what's going on, and maybe it's because it's too fresh. But I don't know. I personally, I'm still on the fence. I'm not a huge fan of this.
I'm not 100% for either side, but I just think football is such a sport that is filled with opinion that I can't see, because there'll be arguments no matter what. That's the truth of the matter. But as I say, for offside and stuff like that, it's a matter of fact. So fair enough, crack on.
Yeah. No, and completely agree. Completely agree. We better move on because time is against us. We're going to talk very quickly about the Football League, and we'll talk briefly about League One and Gillingham. And then if we get chance, we'll go back to VAR and then your club, of course, West Ham, and talk about deadline day.
Okay.
So, yeah, let's have a whistle-stop tour of the Championship. A couple of key, there was only sort of 4 fixtures from the Championship. So Fulham won 3-1 away to Barnsley. I don't know if you heard, Josh, but Ryan Sessegnon, I believe, is now up to 11 goals this season, which is not bad for a left-back, I believe he is. A young left-back of that. Have you had the chance to see him play?
I haven't had the chance to see him play live. I'd love to, because he seems a very, very talented player. The amount of goals he gets I'll ask you a question now. Let's change it up. Would you be tempted to play him further forward, such as left winger?
Interesting question, because that came up on my Twitter moments yesterday. Someone was suggesting they play him as a left winger, or could he be the winger that England crying out for the World Cup or something like that. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Listen, he's clearly doing a quality job. As someone who plays fullback, not particularly well, as I'm sure my teammates will say. I think it depends. I think it depends on how he plays, and if he makes the runs. Because by the sounds of it, he seems to be in the right position at the right time. Great sort of instinct,
Yeah.
fantastic. But by being a winger, sometimes, and this is what I find as well, if he's making his runs from deeper, then it's going to be more sort of unlikely that the other team are going to track his run and mark him. Whereas if he's a winger, he's obviously got a fullback pestering him of the opposition. So I think that's something that needs to be kept in mind. I don't know. Look, naturally, why not give him a go? Why not give him a go?
Yeah, why not? I don't see why not.
Why not? Anyway, yeah, Fulham obviously back on track. Fulham definitely going to be pleased with that result. And another team obviously back on track is Norwich, picking up a 1-0 win away to Brentford. Seems like a good day for most of the away teams in this league this weekend. As we've discussed, James Maddison, I don't know if you saw the goal, Josh, but it was sweet as anything. Nutmegged one of the Brentford midfielders and just curled it into the right-hand side of the goal. It was beautiful.
It was impressive. Not gonna lie, it was very, very impressive. He just makes things look so easy, Danny. He's one that makes football look like an easy sport, and it really is not.
Yeah, 100% agree. My worry is we won't see too much more of him, but that's for another day. I'm sure that'll be deadline day. That'll probably be 11th hour job. You can see that one happening. Anyway, Bristol City resumed things in the Championship with a 2-0 win over QPR. Bristol City, Josh, overall, I mean, obviously out of the Carabao Cup, but they'll probably be quite pleased that they've now sort of taken all the positives from their game against Man City or games against Man City and put it back in the league.
Yeah, they had a slight dip in form in the league up until yesterday, and they done absolute wonders for my association bets yesterday. It's a great result, gets them back on track, and I think they've got enough quality to go and push now in the league.
Yeah, excellent day all round, especially for Josh, by the sounds of it. Anyway, and the final Championship game was Ipswich and Wolves recorded another clean sheet and won 1-0 at Portman Road. Josh, are Wolves still the favourites to win this league outright?
Yeah, they possess a tremendous amount of quality, especially in midfield. Yet again, another club who done wonders for the association bets. Sorry, my throat goes really dry. Yeah, Ruben Neves, Connor Cody. You got the two foreign lads up front. I can't remember their names. Hotter and
Hotter's one. I can't. Is it? Oh no! I know. I've got it in my head, but I can't. You know what?
Anyway,
carry on. We'll find it. We'll find it. Go on.
Yeah, two lads up front are very impressive, and I think they'll run away with the league. To be honest, I really do.
Yeah, they're a bit of an unstoppable force, aren't they? Really. Other than, mind you, they did struggle. I can't remember who they lost to. They did have a bit of a blip. I think it was Forest, wasn't it, or something?
No. It was Forest. It was Forest.
Yeah. I don't know if this is who you're on about. Helder Costa, Ruben Neves, maybe.
Helder Costa, but he's not the striker I was thinking of.
Calviero.
No.
Okay, we'll get it. We'll get it eventually. But yeah, no, they're a force to be reckoned with. Okay, well, let's move on to League One now because we want to hear your thoughts on the Gills because I've not heard your thoughts on the Gills in general for ages. So, obviously,
Yeah.
you won 2-1 yesterday against Fleetwood. So, yeah, just tell us a bit about that game and then just in general, what's been going on?
Well, for the final time tonight, I'm going to say another team that done tremendously well for the association bets yesterday was Gillingham. A safe bet for you all every week. It seems is Gillingham to win and both teams to score. Just a little tip.
Thanks, Josh.
I'll tell you, I mean, as you know, Danny, I was not the biggest fan of AD Peddock. Since he's gone, and Peter Taylor with him, thank God. Steve Lovell's taken over, and I was very critical at first because, I mean, he's got no managerial experience. But since then, we've gone from second bottom to now 7 points outside the playoffs, and I can't think of a man that's been this well backed from the fans since Martin Allen, since won the league in League Two. Steve Lovell, club legend, used to play up front for Gills. Very well liked. I can't think of enough words to sum up how well he's done. It's been absolutely tremendous. Tom Eaves, bearing in mind who scored 4 goals in League Two last season. Is it the 12 goal mark in League One now?
Wow.
He's an absolute been around superb target man. It just creates, just it strikes fear into opponents because if you're putting the ball in the air, he's going to win it. And he's so useful and suits the way we play so well. My fear is losing the goalie, 6'9", Thomas Holy, who last season was one of the worst goalkeepers I've ever seen. To this season, where he's transforming into some Manuel Neuer.
What's changed him? What's changed him? What do you think it's changed your manager and
I
he's
don't
got
think
the
it's a change
best actor?
because even under Pennock, it improved massively. I think last season he come here from Czech Republic. I think he struggled to settle in to the team, struggling with a new language, and once he made his first mistake, the fans were on his back, me included. And I actually messaged him on Instagram about 2-3 months ago, apologising. But this season, I mean, the goalkeeping coach has done a lot of work with him, and I truly think we have the best goalkeeping coach in the league in Glenn Johnson. He's done wonders with Thomas. As I say, he's transformed from one of the worst goalkeepers I've ever seen to, I think, the best goalkeeper in League One. And there's a reason why Brighton and Bristol City are looking at him. 6'9", as I say, he'll struggle to get into the bottom corners, but anything in the top corners he'll reach. And he made an absolutely superb save yesterday, which kept us in the game and eventually got us to 3 points.
I have to say, Josh, it's really refreshing to hear so much sort of passion and just sort of belief in your voice talking about Gillingham for a change.
Yeah.
It seems like every time we've done a TFF Talks, or it's always Pennock out or whatever, and unfortunately, we've never had a Gills, I would say, purple patch. And I have to say, it's really nice to hear that sort of oozing, that pride just oozing
Yeah.
out.
It makes it, for the first time in 2 years, I'm proud to be a Gillingham fan. And listen, as far as I was concerned, before Lovell got a job, we were dead and buried. We were gone. We were in League Two next season. But now, months later, I'm sitting here and I genuinely think we could get to Wembley. I do think we could make the playoffs. We're 7 points off it. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. If we make mid-table, it's been a fantastic season. But in the form league, since Lovell took over, we would be fourth. We're on a tremendous run of form. We fear no one. We're a lot better away from home than we are at home. But February is massive. We got Shrewsbury and Wigan away, who are the table toppers. And we've also got Northampton away, who are down there scrapping for their lives. So neither of those are easy games. So February is massive. Absolutely massive. If we go and nick a point against Wigan away next week, superb. I mean, points against Wigan and Shrewsbury away are bonuses for me. You got to beat the teams like Northampton. And with a good February, I do think we could make the playoffs. And I, in a million years, didn't think I'd ever be able to say that this season.
Well, hopefully, fingers crossed, you keep up the good form, and that'd be really nice to check in come February and just sort of hear that you've made the playoffs, or you're heading towards. You wouldn't have made the playoffs, heading towards in the right direction. That'd be really nice to hear. Okay, we're only going to spend a couple more minutes. I know we're just over time. I don't want to keep you for much longer. So just very briefly on VAR then, because we're going to take it back to that now, and then we'll go on to West Ham, and then we'll call it that for this evening. VAR. Initial thoughts then. We've had what you think is, or what your gut feeling is, I suppose, on it. But what would you say could be improved about it? How could it be improved?
It's a tough question. I'm really sorry about my voice. It's really deteriorated throughout this
No,
podcast.
it's okay. It's held its own.
I think I'm in the very early stages of a sudden illness of man flu. I'm really sorry.
That's all right.
How to improve it? It's such a broad question, though, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
How do you improve it? That's the thing, because as I say, it's a matter of opinion. No matter how, it's all well and good saying let's get a team of ex-professional footballers to go on the panel. Not all of them will still agree.
So
honestly, Danny, I don't know.
That's
I
fine.
don't know, and that question is way above my wage bill.
Well, I was just thinking when I typed that up, I was thinking obviously probably the most obvious one is probably speed, as in the Liverpool West Brom incidents. One of them just took, I think it was like 2-3 minutes. It took quite a bit of time when you consider that it is a goal or is it a penalty? Is it not a penalty? You've got all these things happening.
Yeah.
It's such a sort of volatile time for these sort of decisions. But listen, I suppose as long as you get it right, you get it right. But okay,
Yeah, but,
go on.
well, for me, the main one that stuck out from yesterday was the one where Salah goes down for the penalty.
Yeah.
For me, he's gone down very easily. It's a soft penalty, I think. I'm not sure whether it is a penalty, Danny.
Well, that's what
I think
we're talking about. It's very subjective, isn't it? It's very subjective.
It's so soft, and it's. Oh, I mean, you look at the Norwich Chelsea game. The referee did have VAR. Now listen, I laughed as much as anyone else, and I really wanted Norwich to win that game. And what a job Barker's doing, I think personally, with all the off the field. I know I've laughed and joked about it earlier on the season, but I do think he's good, doing a good job considering the off the field side of things. The referee had VAR that night, and still somehow managed to get a lot of decisions wrong. And you'll be the first to admit.
Oh yeah, 100%. And there was a lot went Norwich's way that night, and it shouldn't have really. But
yeah,
that's.
I don't know how we move forward and improve it. It's a matter of error.
Yeah. Would it be a case of, because I know some people have called for it, would it be a case of opening up that communication channel and maybe listening to what? So when he calls the assistant who's operating the VAR, do they open up the line and have that sort of communication? Because everyone looks at it and is sort of going, "What's going on?" Like no one knows. What would be your thoughts on that?
Well, in terms of informing the supporters of what's going on.
Yeah, just opening up they've obviously got the earpieces in and they're obviously talking to each other.
Yeah. Would it be a bad thing that supporters could hear what referees are saying?
Well, that's what I mean. What do you think?
Yeah. Televised game, I think we should be able to hear what they say. But it'd be a brave thing to do for someone like the BBC, BT, or Sky, because as we know, Danny, we both play football. Footballers get carried away and tend to swear quite a lot.
Yeah.
So think of the risks
Yeah,
that
definitely.
these television take. So there's that. It's hard. It's so hard, and as I say, it's a question for someone way above my wage bill, and I'm not getting the big bucks at TFF.
Oh, I have to get Crowford to get his checkbook out.
not paid well enough to this question, that's for sure.
Oh, fair enough. We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it there. Go on. Okay, we'll leave it at that for now. We'll save you there. Very quickly, here is SA's response to the earlier question about who West Ham should maybe look at for deadline, ahead of deadline day. And he's come up with oh my word, I'm going to butcher this name. The Anderlecht midfielder, I've done well there. Lender De Donker.
Yes.
Actually, I didn't do too bad there.
It's something like that. Den Docker, I think it is.
He says he's been linked in recent days. Well, yeah, it's clearly, as you know, with an Arnautovic out through injury. He says, I think he's one to watch. West Ham also interested in. Oh, I don't know why he's put this, but okay. I think he's one to watch for West Ham. He's also interested in a move to the Premier League, by the looks of it. So, what would be your gut reaction to that then, Josh?
I'm not going to sit here and lie, Danny. I've never seen the fella play. Sorry. And I've never heard his name until he was linked to West Ham. However, he is a central midfielder to my belief. My gut instinct when I first heard his name was he can't be any worse than Cheku Kiate this season. So go and buy him. So go and buy the fella. If he's got the potential, and we've got scouts out there watching him, they're impressed. Go and buy him. If Anderlecht say they want 20 million, go and pay 20 million. There's an asking price for a reason. Go and match it.
Well,
Do I think we'll get him? I don't think we'll sign anyone personally.
Okay, well, we will have to see if you do sign him or if you even sign anyone this deadline day. And so we're pretty much now at the end of the show. A few more details for deadline day. So I believe deadline day is Wednesday, unless I've dramatically got this wrong. So yeah, supposedly deadline day is Wednesday, and we hope to bring you a stream. I should be about for a stream from 9 o'clock onwards on deadline day, but there may be some more details coming out later on in the week, and there may be some coverage going on in the day. So just keep your eyes out for that. Hopefully, Josh will join us again for that. I'm sure you said you could.
I will.
Excellent.
I will. I'll be about.
So we could talk Gills and West Ham in more detail. But yeah, unfortunately, we've run out of time. Thank you, Josh, once again. Do you want to just share your social media handle or Twitter handle, sorry, so that people can follow you?
Yeah, if you want to hear me chat some more about my ridiculous footballing opinions, please follow at TFF Josh on Twitter.
Excellent. And my Twitter is at DannyCook1996. As I say, thank you very much, Josh, for your efforts this evening. And thank you, SA, for sending in your questions, your comments and answering our question earlier. I've been your host, Danny Cook, and that is all for the 13th episode of TFF Talks Season 2, which was brought to you by Crowford Media and HalfTideCuppa.com. and sponsored by Classic 11 Shirts.